We see huge variations of this where the Big Island, somebody might say, hey, there's 5 months of inventory, and that seems like a seller's market. But if you're selling vacant land in the south part of the island, there's tons of inventory. If you are a seller and there is a very low number months of inventory, less than 6, 3, 4, 5 months of inventory, that means you can be more aggressive on price and terms. If it's the converse and you're a buyer and there are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months of inventory for the type of property you're trying to buy, you can be more aggressive on terms because the market favors you. Hey, what's happening, friends? There's an important market data point that's thrown around a lot in the real estate industry and real estate news, and it's months of inventory. You hear it a lot, and I don't feel like it's always explained very well. And so the way you usually hear it in terms of context is if there is over 6 months of inventory, it's a buyer's market. If there's less than 6 months of inventory, it's a seller's market. But what does that actually mean, right? So to break this down, what it basically means, and the definition of the months of inventory, is the number of comparable properties on the market divided by the number of properties that sell that month. And so what's important about that is a lot of times when you see market data on the news or maybe at a social media post, they're saying there's 5.5 months of inventory. That may not totally be accurate, because if they're just taking the total number of properties on the market divided by the number of properties that sold and coming up with their months of inventory number, yes, that applies to the entire market. That is an accurate data point, but it doesn't necessarily have the context that helps you understand what's going on specifically for your property. Because if we're talking about homes in a certain submarket of the island or your state, you really want to take the months of inventory applicable to that submarket, because then you're going to get a accurate picture of how many months of inventory are available. For example, if you own a short-term vacation rental condominium in a certain area of your market, you really just want to compare months of inventory to those properties, because it could be better or worse than the market as a whole based on the market activity in that submarket. So you really want to look at months of inventory for your particular property, and that will help you decide on pricing and how aggressive you can be on terms, and maybe how long your property may stay on the market, so you can make plans around that. But you really want to look at it in context and see what exact type of property am I, and then take those comparable properties, the total amount, and the number of properties that are like your property that sell per month, and then calculate months of inventory, because that will give you a better idea. We see huge variations of this where the Big Island, somebody might say, hey, there's 5 months of inventory, and that seems like a seller's market. But if you're selling vacant land in the south part of the island, there's tons of inventory, and the months of inventory could be 9, 10, 11, 12 months of inventory. But when you average it all out with condos in Kona and single family homes in Hilo, it ends up being 5 months. But that's not an accurate picture of your exact market picture based on the type of property that you have. So you really want to take that into account. If you are a seller and there is a very low number months of inventory, less than 6, 3, 4, 5 months of inventory, that means you can be more aggressive on price and terms. If it's the converse and you're a buyer and there are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months of inventory for the type of property you're trying to buy, you can be more aggressive on terms because the market favors you. And basically, the way to think about it is the months of inventory means if no more properties came on the market based on the number of sales that are currently happening, how many months would it take for every property on the market to sell? So for example, if there are 100 properties on the market that are like yours and 25 properties that are like yours sell every month, you divide 100 by 25 and then you get 4. And so you have 4 months of inventory, which tells you it is a seller's market because it is less than 6 months. So just something to think about. If you want a breakdown of your specific months of inventory, you got to get with a realtor that knows the market well, that has access to that market data, and they can pull specific numbers for you. And you can take this into account when you are looking at a buy or sell strategy. So as always, if you have any questions, there is a link to book a meeting with me in the description below, or you can email me at dylan@buyabigisland.com. Thank you guys for watching about months of inventory. I'll see you guys next week. Aloha.